Hello, this is Grant Ayers, the author of The Inevitable War, Godslayer Book 1. And today we are going to talk about reviews about the Gourmet Gladiator. This first one is by Macentos.
A dynamic power blasting adventure. It's difficult to write by chapter reviews since everything is written so consistently. So, I think it would be better to address points on the whole. I read up to chapter 6.
First, this is an action-packed story.
The characters are always moving and in conflicts of both the physical and emotional variety.
The characters are intense but relatable.
Secondly, it is a unique concept. Giving attributes to different foods and those foods bestowing powers is a fun premise. Thirdly, the writing style is reminiscent of comics so that I can picture the scenes in my head easily. The biggest downfalls are in the lack of punctuation and a few minor plot holes.
I also think it would be easier to read if dialogue tags were joined with the dialogue and some of the action paragraphs broken up. Otherwise, it's a solid story.
Keep up the good work and thanks for letting me read.
So the overall rating for this one was 4 stars. This was a 4-star review with a plot, with the plot being 4 stars, the writing style being 5, and the grammar and punctuation being 2 stars out of 5. So the problem with this is that it doesn't tell me anything to help me build up, to make my story better, because what InKit is really good for is providing feedback and expressing what is good and telling the author what he can improve upon, her or he, whatever. But I appreciate the review. It's by Macentos. I think I've already stated that. Up next is a review by Book Reviewer 88. I think his name is Adam. Anyways, here it goes.
Must read. Update. This is so fun to read. I love that the character is full of all this emotion. I'm glad to see that in a story.
And as for the power system,
sounds delicious. 5+ new chapters. This author works quick and none of them fail to impress. This man is amazing. Happy Halloween, Grant.
These are really nice words. 5 stars across the board when it comes to overall rating, plot rating, writing style, and grammar and punctuation rating. See, the problem with this one is that, yes, it's nice, but it doesn't tell, the reader, the person that's about to read this book, why they should be enticed into it. Like if I was a reader and I saw this review about it, I was like, this guy enjoyed it. And as far as things go, it sounds like a normal book that anyone can say nice words about. It's fun to read. I can say that about every single book I've ever read. I love the character that is full of all of this emotion, quote unquote. That every character that you read will have somewhat emotion. Dan Wells, the writer of I Am Not a Serial Killer, even that book, where the main character is a sociopath, has emotion in it. There's a lot of emotion within the book. So, nice words, but it doesn't really help me. It doesn't really help drag other people into this story. Thank you for the nice words, but, as far as a review go, this ain't a proper review. Anyhow, this next one is by Elizabeth Mikatuk. If I said that right.
Really good, definitely a must-read story. I liked the storyline and where it was going and how the students got their power. It definitely reminded me of an old movie that had a similar storyline as well. I would recommend to a teen who are into a little bit of adventure, I suppose, with a sprinkle of romance on top.
Same problem as the other one, except overall rating was a 4-star. a 5-star for plot, a 5-star for writing style, and a 3-star for grammar. See, the problem with these types of reviews is that you see like lower stars for like grammar and punctuation, but in the review it says nothing about why like they gave those ratings. See, a review for me is like, okay, do you know what? If I'm going to read this book, I'm going to say what I felt during while I read it, how you would improve it if I have a problem with it or if I see a problem with it. And if it's perfect all across the board, then I'm going to tell not just the author, but other readers that are wanting to read the story why they should. All this tells me is that friendly words and nothing to help me improve. This next one is, well, by me. This doesn't help me at all.
I would recommend to as teen who are into a little bit of adventure, I suppose, with a sprinkle, the Gourmet Gladiator.
This one's by me.
I think that is a good book, and from an author's perspective, I think that I am gradually loving to write it. And I think others will love to read it just as much. Top.
So, this was just when I was beginning to write the Gourmet Gladiator. So, at first, this like the story began as like a short story, like 5,000 words, right? But it just didn't want to stop there, so I just kept writing it because I loved it so much. And so far, everyone else, like, it has gotten like around 400 views on Inkit, and all positive reviews so far. Nothing has hit like the 3-star area, like when it comes to like an overall rating. And I appreciate it. I love it, and I'm glad that other people are loving it too. So I just keep writing the story, and it's amazing. This review means nothing because it's from me, but still, I just wanted to see if you could review your own story, because I find that a little cheatsy, but fun at the same time. Anyhow, this next one is by Missy T.
Top Chef Table Edition. I absolutely adore the uniqueness of this novel. Not only is Toby challenging stereotypical health issue of a young man, but he is also bringing light to the unfairness of society in a unique and brilliant way. I definitely think this novel is worth the read, and yes, there are bumps and hiccups, but what is an author without trials and tribulations? Keep it up. Interesting.
So, this was 5 stars across the board, except for the grammar and punctuation, which is 4 stars. See, what I'm thinking is, so we go back up to that, like, Monsanto's topic, and telling people, like, oh yeah, so that's where the hiccups are, right? Monsanto's brings up how, like, dialogue, punctuation, and plot holes, right? But without describing where, what, and when. Like, this one's nice. I love this. It made my day hearing this review. But as far as things go, like, it doesn't help me improve what is wrong there to make her rating go up. But it definitely entices a reader, right? Like, to read it. I love that. Anyhow, this next one is by Antonella. Internet names, man. Internet names. Anyways, here we go.
Interesting read. I think there needs to be a discussion about mental health and how heavily it affects a person's mind and actions. I do like that this book mentions and sort of winds such topics into the plot. Toby before his abilities was this self-conscious boy who only saw himself as disgusting and unworthy of attention. When Toby was granted his abilities, he evolved into this confident and ass-kicking character, which is a complete 180 degrees from where he was at before. I also think the message it sends regarding how important it is for parents to treat their kids with respect and check in on their mental health is very important and also needs a whole other conversation. I really loved the fantasy portrayed in this story. It was unique in its own right and I greatly enjoyed it. I was kinda reminded of Alice in Wonderland with how crazy some of the scenes were with the chef. Haha, I applaud the author for coming up with this unique plot where the characters gain their abilities through different means and have consequences as a result. Thank you for writing this story. I had fun venturing into the beginning of it. Keep up the good work and don't ever feel discouraged.
This one also made my day. 5-star rating across the board. So this person didn't have a problem with the book and liked the deeper context that is written into the Gourmet Gladiator. Now, assuming that you haven't read the story or listened to it here on YouTube, I'm just going to say this. Toby is a character, when I was writing him, was supposed to be like 0 to 100, right? It was like the experiment of it. Like, oh yeah, what if this character, like, what if a person who is a complete loser got the power to become something more of himself? Now, in a typical hero story, you see this character, like this average Joe wannabe, turn into a hero for no reason and save people. That's unrealistic to me. That doesn't make sense. And I wanted a character like that, but into a more realistic view. Like, for instance, like, everyone here who has ever had the thought, like, oh, power of invisibility, for instance, right? Every guy will give you the creepy answer, like, oh, I would turn invisible and go into, like, the woman's, like, shower room or whatever the fuck. Right? And or I would rob a bank. If I could freeze time, I would rob a bank. I'd do this, I would do that. And that's humanity for you. Like, if you don't have power and then you come into it, you're going to be evil. Period. And so, and when you're a person who's already corrupt, who's already going through a bunch of mental illnesses, and then transcending into a almost overnight position of power, it's going to corrupt you even more in a bad way, not in a good way. At least that's my point of view of it. Anyhow, I love that review. Thank you. This next one is by Blind King. Here we go.
If Gordon Ramsay was Superman.
Grammar-wise, there's a few easy mistakes to fix, such as your when it's supposed to be your. Also, some of the characters like Fergie, whom you also address as Fergie. Plus a mistake early when Toby fights Coach Crack, you called him a couch.
But these are easy to fix by just giving the chapter a second read, and fixing the mistakes.
As far as the story is concerned, it was a lot more action-focused in the beginning, and overall, than I thought it would be. If you are a fan of action-packed stories with fight scenes in them, I highly recommend this story. There's a lot more variety to the powers that people have, which has shake things up and leaves you wondering what they'll be able to do next. Action-packed. Action.
So, this review told me exactly what I needed to hear. See, this was from a bit ago, and I think I fixed most of the mistakes that this guy mentioned. But either way, this was perfect. This is what I needed to hear. And it tells the reader, yeah, there's these mistakes, but if you like this, then you should read it anyways. Perfect example of what a review should be. I like it. I loved it. This next one is by Circstar Ree. Internet names. Anyhow, let's go.
Action-packed. I have not finished this story yet, but the author has done such a good job with this prompt. I've never seen it being written like this before. First off, I love the character Toby and how it's written from his point of view. It tells the reader so much about what he is going through and what he truly thinks about himself. The author made this new world believable in a way that makes me just want to keep reading and reading, and I will defiantly finish it sometime soon, smiley face.
So, kind words again. 5-star rating for all the way through. good. Like, the whole point of this video basically shows you that the Gourmet Gladiator, which is on Inkit for free, is a must read, and that that's a really good story, and that you should definitely check it out and listen to it even. And do you know when Cirque Starry said that she's seen this prompt before? So I was scrolling through TikTok, right, and I saw the prompt. Like I think it said like people get superpowers depending on what they eat, but your character eats a table, right? I thought that is such a stupid ass idea. And I thought, okay, so there's like 3 ways to write it. My way, which is the best way, duh, in my opinion, or go very realistic with it, which is he chokes on the table and die. Or second, you make the table into like this edible, like, oh, it's a gummy table, and now he has gummy powers or some shit. And so I'm glad, and like I just published the Inevitable War, and since I've written the entire series, I wanted to take a break from it. So I said, okay, let's just write short stories because I still want to write. I don't want to get out of practice. I want to get better. And so the Gourmet Gladiator, along with a bunch of other stories on Inkit that I have written, started out as 5,000 words, and just stopped there. But for as the Gourmet Gladiator, people kept wanting it to be read. Like, they wanted more. Like, they hated how I left it. And so I was like, okay, do you know what? I'm going to redo it. And I did. And so now the Gourmet Gladiator is 76,000 words. It's a proper novel that you can read on Inkit for free. And I think that everyone can agree that they love the character Toby. They like what he goes through within the story. And that you should definitely like, subscribe, and check out the playlist that I made here on YouTube. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.